Alright, so it's graphing the equation of a line. Like I said, 3 different methods we're going to use. We need this for reflections. We started off with method 1, we're creating a t-chart. We have x and y values that we're going to input. The first one I choose is 0. And then plug in 0 for x. 3 times 0 equals 0, so you just, everything that you have left to use. Negative 2y equals negative 14, divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, y equals 7. So my first value for y is 7. And since my x is 0, that is my y-intercept actually as well. So over here on the graph, 0, 7, we'll put a point. That's my first point that I'm going to make at 0, 7. Now, seeing that 0, 7 is all the way up at the top of my graph only counts to 7 each direction. I got to kind of be careful which next number I choose. If I choose 1 and this line is positive, then my next point is going to be off of the graph. So I have to kind of be careful with the next point I choose. I know for a fact this line is going to be positive because I think the slope is like 2 over 3 or something like that when you go to slope-intercept form. So I don't want to pick 1 next. I want to pick something else. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to pick negative 1. Keep my points on the graph. Negative 1. That's the next one I'm going to use for x. It's 3 times negative 1 minus 2y equals negative 14. There you go again. Negative 3 minus 2y equals negative 14. Add 3. Add 3. Cancels. Negative 2y equals negative 11. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Cancels. Y, it's okay, it's going to be a decimal, but it's fine. What is a decimal? Positive 5.5. 5.5 is your y value if you have negative 1. You can graph that. That's not a hard one to graph. Negative 1 on the graph at x, go up 5.5. Your point will be about right here. Then find one more point. 3 points is good to draw your line for this kind of a thing on t-chart. So I'm going to do negative 2 next. I'll do that one down here. Negative 2, 3 times negative 2 minus 2y equals negative 14. Solve. Negative 6 minus 2y equals negative 14. Add 6. Add 6. Cancels. Negative 2y equals negative 8. Divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Y equals 4. So my last point is negative 2, 4. So on the graph, I'm going to go to negative 2, up 4. That's the last point I need. Now I can graph a line. So this is me graphing this line, 3x minus 2y equals 14, negative 14. Now this line is in standard form, that's why you can use a t-chart if you wanted to. But you can put it in slope-intercept form, just graph it from that. However you want to play it. Like I said, that's why I'm going to go with number 2. And number 2 is the way I'm going to graph all of my equations. 2, write an equation in slope-intercept form. Graph the y-intercept and then plot at least 2 more coordinate points counting the slope. Connect the dots. This one y'all should be familiar with because we already did it this year. Go into slope intercept form, solving for y. Subtract 2x on both sides. Cancels. Bring down y. You already got y by itself. There's nothing on y, so you're good. So y equals then negative 2x plus 4 once I rearrange it. Then after that, you need two things to graph a line on the graph: slope and your y-intercept. Irvin, what's the slope of this line? What's the slope of this line? Negative 2. But when I'm getting ready to graph, I can't use a whole number. What should I say?
Negative 2 over 1.
Thank you. Negative 2 over 1. When you're getting ready to graph, you should always have your slope and fraction form, even if it's a whole number. And Irvin, what's my y-intercept? 4. Okay, that's only two things you need to graph. Then you graph. Go to 4 first. You always put your intercept on first. You want to count slope from there. Intercept is at 4. And then from this point, I'm going to count my slope from 4. It's negative 2 over 1. Is my first move a rise or a fall? Should be falling. 2. Down 1, 2. Over to the right 1. I would do it a couple more times just to get a couple more points on there. From this point, do it again. Down 1, 2, over 1. This point, down 1, 2, over 1. Then you can draw your line in clear. Next one, number 3. This method is finding your x and y intercepts and then graph them, and then connect the two coordinate points. So on this one, you're just going to find an x-intercept and a y-intercept. We usually always find our y-intercept for these, but we're going to find the x and the y-intercept where the line crosses the x-axis and the y-axis. So for x-intercept, if I'm looking for my x-intercept where the line hits the x-axis, to find that, I'm going to plug in a 0 for y. Reason being, wherever my line hits the x-axis, my y value has to be 0. And vice versa for y-intercept. When we do y-intercept, if you look at the one up there, our y-intercept was 4. Our x value was 0. Because we're at 0, 4. So you just plug in a 0 for the other one that you, if you're trying to find the x-intercept, plug in a 0 for y. Y-intercept, plug in a 0 for x. So x-intercept first, so I'm going to write this equation. 11x minus 4 times 0 equals 24. 4 times 0 is 0, or negative 4 times 0 is 0. So you get 11x equals 24. Divide by 11, divide by 11. You will get a decimal. X is going to be 2.2. So what that is telling me that my intercept here is going to be 2.2, comma 0. That's my x-intercept. And I can put that point on the graph if I wanted to right now. 2.2 ain't an easy one to graph, but you just kind of got to wing it. So on the x-axis, go over 2.2, a little bit after the 2. Put a point. .20. Then you need to find your y-intercept. It's gonna be this time we plugging in 0 for x. So 11 times 0 minus 4y equals 24. 11 times 0 cancels out. Negative 4y, 24. Divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Y equals negative 6. So in this case, our y-intercept would be at 0, negative 6. Then you putting that point on. Y-intercept at 0, down negative 6. Now I have my x and my y-intercepts. I can draw a line through those, and that'll be my line. So, 3 different methods of drawing lines. The one I want to use is number 2, but I'm showing you all 3. Flipping on the back, I'm going to use number 2 religiously. I'm not doing all of these, I'm doing some though. I'm doing most of them. Let me do number 2 with you. Actually, there's 2 number 2s on here. Forgot to renumber this. This number 2 at the top that I'm looking at right now should actually be number 4. You can even make it number 4 if you want. One, be quiet. So on this one, like I said, you got those 3 options on the front. I'm gonna always choose option number 2. I'm gonna turn this into a slope-intercept form equation, and then I'm gonna graph it. I need space to do that, so I'm gonna come up top though. Remember, you write it real quick. All the way at the top, 10x minus 3y equals 15. You know, the first thing you need to do is move 10x. Cancels. We write this as negative 3y equals, bring the 10x in front. Positive 15, so plus 15. Then divide by negative 3 on both sides. Cancels over there. So y equals, and then you have negative 10x divided by negative 3. You should understand a negative divided by a negative is going to give you a positive. So you should get positive 10 over 3. This is x. And then 15 divided by negative 3, you'll get negative 5. So that's my slope-intercept form of this equation. 1, based on that, what's my slope? Intercept. Graph the intercept first. Negative 5. And then the slope is, my bad. Slope is 10 over 3. I don't feel like counting up 10, so I'm going to do some math. I'm at negative 5. Plus 10 will take me to positive 5. So that's my rise. Then my run is 3. 1, 2, 3. Here. And then I can draw a line. That's my line for y equals 10 over 3x minus 5. Jumping to that other number 2 next. This number 2, start number 3. These are the main ones you need to know for me. The difference between these two. Number 2 is y equals 4. Let's see if you know why. 1 on this number 2, it's already in slope-intercept form. What's the slope?
Oh, there's 2 numbers.
Slope is 0. What's the intercept? Alright. Slope is 0. My intercept is 4. So my B I start at positive 4. My intercept. And then from there, the slope is 0. Slope is 0, 1, so I can't count no slope. Which way is my line going to go? Vertically or horizontally?
No, horizontal. Oh, wait, vertically.
Which one?
No, it's on.
What? That's not the question.
No, I said I am.
That sounds good. None of them remember. But this the part I need y'all to remember for tomorrow, because like most of the lines that y'all have to draw are going to either be a y equals line or an x equals line. And I don't know if you want to write it down or not. Maybe I should make this class write it down. Out to the side. A line that is y equals, I guess let's say a number. Any number is horizontal. So this would be a horizontal line right there at y equals 4. Let me draw the line there. But this is the main thing you need to know, so you be able to put line of reflections in for yourself. It's the horizontal line right there. And y equals 4. The next one is x equals negative 3. Mike, I need a slope and a y-intercept. What's my slope? And honestly, I could not y-intercept. I need an x-intercept because x equals negative 3. I need a slope and an x-intercept. I apologize, I said that wrong. This one I need an x. Never mind, Mike. Man, you. What's my slope? Anybody know slope? It's not 0.
1.
Only thing about this one is just x equals negative 3. This is an x-intercept. My point is here on the x-axis at negative 3. Shh. Listen. Shh. I guess we need to write another thing out to the side here. Yeah. A line. Oh man, my pen running out of ink. That is x equals a number is vertical. This is a vertical line at x equals 3. Oh, I'm tripping. Hold on, I wrote that wrong too. Your y-intercept is not -3. I wrote that wrong. Your y-intercept is all y values. I apologize. Correct that on there. Your y-intercept is all y values. Because this line goes on infinitely on the y-axis here. So any value of y, I mean, not on the y-axis, excuse me, in the y direction, all y values would be on y-intercept. Alright, last one I'm going to show you. Y equals 0. Y equals 0, 0 slope. Intercept is 0. So my intercept is 0. Which direction am I drawing my line? Vertically or horizontally? Horizontal line. I think we asked y'all this at some point too. I can't remember if it's on your test or not. I think we're trying to set you up too. Y equals 0 is the same thing as saying the x-axis. And I know that sounds confusing, but if you look at it, it's true. Y equals 0 is the same thing as drawing a line on the x-axis. You heard that one, or you too busy talking to Mike? Y equals 0 is the same thing as drawing a line on the x-axis. It is the x-axis. But I'm showing you why. The other two y'all can graph yourselves. 1 and 6 do on your own.